Nobody should be surprised about what happened last night. Okay, nobody should be surprised. Um, I mean, she really took a beating. She got housed. She lost. I mean, she didn't even get the popular vote. She got none of the swing states. I mean, I want to say I saw this coming because she was just so unlikable, and they spent like most of the time she was in the White House hiding her away because she's so unlikable. But I didn't realize it would be like this. I didn't realize the whole damn map would be red like this. This is insane. Um, but nobody should be surprised. I'm just saying the extent to which it happened is pretty wild. And what people have to realize is take off abortion, take off immigration, take off whatever legislation you don't like that comes from Trump or whatever Kamala would have proposed. The economy. People don't give a shit about what you're talking about if they can't feed their children. I last went to the store, I got a loaf of bread, like some meat, a couple cans of beans, and I think a sack of kale. And I'm looking down at the total. It's like damn near $40. Okay, for one person, one meal. Okay, that's insane. People don't give a shit about nothing. I guarantee you, many of those people who voted for Trump probably don't even want Trump. They don't want him either. But they know that they certainly don't want to deal with 4 more years of this. If you can't feed your children, you don't care about making history and you'll be the first black woman and you'll be this and that. Nobody's going to care about that. There's no loyalty when you have an empty stomach. Okay? She just had issues out the gate. She had issues out the gate. Um, Chief among them, okay? You have no platform. You want the people to vote for you. You want people to cast their ballot for you. You want people to entrust you with the launch codes. You want people to make you their commander in chief. But you refuse to tell us what you're going to do with the weak answer of, oh, well, I'm not going to discuss, my policy now. But when I get in, that's when I'll discuss it. That's not how that works. We have nothing to vote for if we don't know what you're bringing to the table. Goddamn wind is blowing all kinds of debris in my eyes. Okay? We don't know what you're about. We can only assume it's just going to be more of Joe Biden. And that's obviously bad. That's obviously why he had to step down. That is obviously bad. She had no answers on what she intended to do to shore up the border, no answers on uh, basically anything outside of Roe v. Wade, which is an important issue, and I am pro-choice. And that is something I disagreed with Trump on. I thought that should have just been left alone, honestly. Leave it alone. I'm glad we can fight it in the States, but he should have left it alone in general. you know? But outside of her talking about reproductive rights, what does she have? Her entire campaign was ran on emotions. Everything. You brought, out comes Cardi B, right? And Megan the Stallion, because when you go to a political rally, you do definitely want to see twerking, and that is absolutely going to make anybody who might be a detractor or someone who doubts her take her seriously. To have Megan the Stallion come out and booty pop, um, as the fate of our country hangs in the balance. These people are the jokes write themselves. She had nothing. She really, I feel like she, much like Hillary Clinton, thought that the whole first thing, I'm the first woman, I'm the first this, was just going to help her sail, into the finish line, or running through the finish line, whatever metaphor works, right? And get her across. And it's just like, if it didn't work for Hillary, who's a far better politician than you, a horrible person, but a far better politician than you, and more able to forge relationships and speak to her beliefs, If it didn't work for her, how the fuck is it gonna work for you? When every poll shows that people consider you to be unlikable, a person that they cannot trust, a person that we cannot get a straight answer out of, a dishonest person, a person who withholds evidence that can exonerate a man who's on death row. That's who you are. Nobody should be surprised about what happened. Now, I do feel a sadness in the air. And a lot of my friends on like Instagram and stuff like that, are expressing sadness and they're afraid and what's going to happen. And women are going to be made to go home and be in the home and not work. And I mean, so many people are jumping out the fucking window. And I'm like, chill. The reproductive rights shit is a problem. Again, pro choice till the day I die, okay? But everything else is a fantasy. Okay, well, slavery is not coming back. They're not going to round up Jews. It's look, we had 4 years of him previous. What did he do during that time that was similar to all the things that people are saying in terms of their fears? What did he do outside of not get us into a war and get us a great economy? Fear makes your brain shut down. Fear makes your brain shut down. This woman was not ever going to be the answer. They fucked themselves. The Democrats fucked themselves. Now, had they put on somebody like Tulsi Gabbard, we wouldn't be having this conversation. She probably would have won the presidency, became the first woman. She's no longer a Democrat. She's a Republican now. But if there's anyone who could have won and could go and stand toe to toe with Donald Trump, it would be her. I believe she could have taken Donald Trump on. I almost think that I would have voted for her over him. To be real with you, they chose a bad person. They chose based on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and a diversity hire. You should not hire just based on what someone looks like and what's in between their legs. This is the lesson. This is the lesson. A meritocracy is always going to be infinitely fairer than favoritism or selecting people, again, based on the features I just talked about. Nobody should be surprised about what happened last night. And I'll tell you this. I don't understand that people think about their positions because everybody came out the woodwork. This is a vote for women. This is a vote for women. This is a vote for this. This is a vote for that. What is Kamala Harris going to do outside expand the Supreme Court to bring Roe v. Wade back and provide federal protections for women to have access to reproductive services? She could, let's say she won. I don't know how much you can expand the court. I need to do some research. I probably should have done that before I started talking. But let's say she puts two to three judges on the court. They're still going to be outranked or outnumbered by the people that are conservative and they are for the issue of access to abortion being a state issue. They will be outranked. The president, her as Kamala Harris president, can't come out with a pen and sign into law that there are federal protections for those services. We have three different branches of government: executive, legislative, and judicial. She can't run roughshod over that. So what was the plan? What was she going to do to bring back federal protections? If I'm incorrect, please correct me in the comments. I'd like to know. I'd like to know because that was the spearhead. Oh, they're taking our rights away. They're taking this away. They're taking that away. Yeah, again, I'm not with it, but you do have contraception, right? We do have that. I just want to say that. But what was she actually going to do? Day one, to get that right back, that federal protection back. What was she going to do on day one? Nobody has an explanation. I have never seen one of these asshole talking heads on MSNBC or CNN or any of these other controlled opposition piece of shit, puff piece, editorialized, deep in your feelings, Nature's assaulting me. BS sources of news. I have never ever heard them project like, you know what, Kamala Harris could go in and introduce this type of stuff, and she could veto this or she could sign this into law, and this would be the way we get Roe v. Wade back. No, they don't tell you anything substantive or anything that's educational. They're just telling you, feel this way, feel this way, feel this way about abortion rights. Well, maybe I do agree with a woman's right to choose. Now, give me the path of how we get that back at a federal level. I've not heard it. This was the shittiest campaign I have ever seen in my life, okay? And I haven't been alive that long, but I've been alive long enough to know that this was the shittiest campaign I've ever seen. No platform, no ability to speak, no consistency, lies about the cognitive state of her running mate. Okay, is hidden in the White House basically the whole time. How many times did they parade Kamala Harris around? Not a lot. Because they read the room, they looked at the polls. I don't know. I'm ranting, but I don't know what the plan was. I don't know what the plan was. It's almost like they wanted her to fail on purpose or some shit. It's almost like I almost have a theory that these people that are like the woke people or whatever woke is, I just think people should just have mutual respect and allow people to have differences. But all these woke people that have been allowed to come into power, and I don't just mean like high level politicians, I'm talking like the Tiffany Henyards of the world and all these people that are woke. I think they allow the most incompetent people to come in, right? And this is a theory. They allow the most incompetent people to come in that you can see are diversity hires, and they put them out in front of the American public. Why? So we can get sick of diversity hires. We can get sick of people being brought in for the color of their skin. Now, how does that work? In a negative way, it actually makes people distrustful of minorities, which is sad. It makes there be an association between poor performance and minorities, which is why I feel like if a minority is going to be in any position of power, and a minority could be because of your skin color, because of your gender, because of your sexuality, because of your gender identity, blah 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 blah. So it's not just blacks or Latinos, right? I think the best person for the job should be brought in, and if that person happens to be a minority, fantastic. That is the only way we get to a point of people having mutual respect. What we have now is a whole bunch of hand wringing and people pretending to not see failure and incompetence where it's present. I almost feel like they're trying to do something with opposites. I really do. They bring in the shittiest people to make it look like, you know what, you don't want wokeness now. Because people can't come out and just be like, oh, wokeness is bad and that's the worst thing and this and that. They have to show you the failure of extreme wokeness. Again, I'm with mutual respect for everybody. I'm with us taking a look at the environment and caring about the environment, the air, the trees, the water, the animals. I'm with all that. What I'm not with, okay, what I'm not with is the shit that makes no sense. I am a supporter of various communities. I do not believe that trans women should be in a sport with biological women. I do not believe that. I don't think anybody in their right mind believes that that's right or fair. I do not believe that you should be able to just run up in my country, no papers, no documentation, and then not only be here, but I gotta pay for you. I gotta pay for your hotel bill. The government gives you a credit card on arrival. Who God knows how much is on that. And then you get to turn around and start slicing and dicing our kids. And if I say, hey, hold on about that, or with that, I'm xenophobic or racist, when literally come here the right way applies to people from Europe, Latin countries, Asian countries. Please come here the right way. That's universally applicable to anyone who's from the outside trying to come in. I'm supposed to feel bad because I want you to come in the right way, and I don't want to give my money to people who don't have skin in the game. When my forefathers and foremothers fought for this country and marched and demonstrated for rights in this country and you get to just come here. You don't even have skin in the game. But I got to walk down the street in my city and see people on the ground hooked on fentanyl, out of their mind, homeless. They're throwing their fucking scraps everywhere. Makes the city look like shit. Makes you feel like shit when you're in a city that looks like crap. I got to deal with all that. And if I have a tiny complaint, then I'm a bad person, or I'm a prejudiced person, or I'm a bigot. You know, this is the backlash. For every action, there is an equal but opposite reaction. That's why I think it's always good to be measured. I would never ever describe myself as a Republican. I would never ever describe myself as a Democrat. I would describe myself as a person who looks at the issues, and whoever has the values, the morals, or the platform that aligns with my vision as an American, natural born American, that's who the fuck I'm voting for. I don't care. That's the way it should be. It's all about meritocracy. Have you convinced me that you want my vote? She didn't convince anyone that she wanted their vote. And to say nothing of the fact that you know you lost, come out and make your concession speech. All these people sitting around at Howard University waiting for this lady to come out and address her supporters. Now, obviously, I disagreed with them. I voted for Donald Trump. I don't agree with her supporters, but I respect them. And I respect the fact that they fought for what they believed in. They came up short, but they fought for what they believed in. And you can't even come out and talk to these people, and they're standing in the cold waiting for you. And you send your little campaign guy out there, and he's, oh, we're still waiting for all the votes to be tallied, and we're gonna, you know, you lost. By the time they sent that dude out, if I'm not incorrect, in terms of electoral votes, she had 188 and Trump had 266. You are done. If he needs 270, that's right around the corner. You're done. You better get pen to paper and start writing that speech and come out and show that you actually could have been a leader. A leader doesn't hide and cry. A leader comes out and owns up to it. Again, I don't like Hillary Clinton. She came out. She stood up. She said, hey, I'm sorry I couldn't do it for you, America, but, thank you for the opportunity. Salute. That's respect. How are you going to hide? That's classless. You have no leadership skills. I don't know. This is a rant. But, I guess wokeism failed. I guess they're trying to make an example of it. I guess you shouldn't rely on booty pops and twerking at your rallies. I guess having people like Cardi B, a person who has confessed to drugging and robbing men, I guess having her come out and struggle to get through a speech because, of course, she has to write this shit down because you can't speak from the heart on issues when you're not well informed. I guess doing all that goofy shit just doesn't help you in the end, does it?